Hello, this is a Pierre Ethier Class 12. This is the 13th of July 2011, and I'm in the city of Trondheim. For those who do not know it, Trondheim was the capital, is the former capital of Norway. The cathedral behind me was started around the year 1100. It was completed in the year 1300. Now, there are some people who keep writing to me, trying to explain to me how mistaken I am in my views, that I should, quote unquote, get a life. Well, the first thing is, I happen to have studied about 10,000 times more the subject than those people. So I think it takes a lot of arrogance to have only cursorily studied a subject, never been able to apply it successfully, and to tell someone who has 40,000 hours of experience of counseling successfully people, who have thousands of life-changing success stories, and who can apply it with great success all the time, to say that person is mistaken and somehow that other person who's not doing well in life, who's even too afraid to say his own name, is somehow right and has a lot to show me. They also assume that I haven't done my homework. When I left the church, I went on the internet because it was my profession. I was running a small internet provider, and later on I was in charge of the security of the largest internet provider in Canada. And I decided to spend some time verifying the facts about L. Ron Hubbard, and I found all sort of things, all the intake, all the bad stories and the good stories and everything. So I contacted some people who truly knew him, and by now I have talked to hundreds of people who knew the man, and I've even audited, given counseling to people who have audited L. Ron Hubbard, people who have CS his case, people who have CS and audited his auditors. So I know a lot of the so-called session secrets of L. Ron Hubbard, and a lot about his dark side. And because someone has some flaws, and somehow some people believe that the man must be perfect, otherwise everything is to be thrown in a garbage can. I never got involved in the subject of Scientology because of that man, but because of the philosophy and what it can do to people, for people. So I'm not into a cult of personality. You know, this happens with a lot of people. They start to idolize some superstar, some movie star, or some philosopher or leader. Well, that's their bag, that's fine. But that has never been. Never once did I go in session and apply the technology because L. Ron Hubbard said so. I applied it because I knew it made sense. I knew from both experience, knowledge, and research that this was a correct thing to do, and that would bring about positive changes and more self-determinism to the person I gave counseling to. But a lot of people, I admit, they just apply robotically. And in fact, the church has been cultivating robotism. So it's become very much a cult of robotism, where lack of self-determinism and rote application is rewarded, and any self-originated thought is punished and discouraged. Now, the reason I applied this philosophy is not because some imbeciles who did not do 1 ounce of research about what I do and what I've done and how much research I've done and assume thousands of facts. And it is because I have seen from experience, and also from the theory and the application, which incidentally coincide with many other philosophies, that it produced results. And somehow, a number of people, the fanatic kind, they are simply, and someone told me, it's not because they left that organization that they're not still in. In other words, they keep acting the way they were indoctrinated, which is to pass snap judgment, to just prejudge things, to not see what is in front of you. And that's what those people do. So they're still doing the exact same thing they were doing outside the church than they were when they were in. And I've seen that the most critical people of the technology that I've seen on discussion boards are those who most fanatically applied it while they were in the church. And these are the people that I kept running across, and that gave me tremendous amount of trouble. These people would just fanatically apply the holy word they were given when it was just destructive, and I would find ways to covertly not comply. About those who say, get a life, well, let's compare mine and theirs. These people typically are struggling in life, don't own much, many live from hand to mouth, and they are spending hours screaming how bad it all is. Me, I spend little time discussing, explaining whether it's good or bad. I simply do it. I have a tremendous amount of success. My job is extremely rewarding. And here I am in this wonderful country of Norway, enjoying some holiday. I go to Brazil once a year. I go to Rio every single year. I travel the world. And I get people, I help people to change life, improve their conditions, their marriage, their success in business and in life. I have no debts. I own my own house. I have 2 vehicles for daily use, and even an old Rolls Royce that I'm repairing in my garage. I have a number of hobbies, and I read a lot of books. Most of them have nothing to do with philosophy or the mind. I know fluently 8 languages, and I can basically get around about a dozen others. I've visited 60 countries. I have a tremendous amount of experience. I eat wonderful food. Now, who needs to get a life here? I'll let you be the judge. Well, right now I'm enjoying this wonderful apple juice. It is organic, without any additives whatsoever, unfiltered, so therefore it's cloudy. It is definitely the best apple juice I've ever drank, and it's organic. Æffelsaf fra Telemark, it says in Norwegian. Now about L. Ron Hubbard versus Scientology. Some people think L. Ron Hubbard equals Scientology. Well, I've got some news for you. It isn't. L. Ron Hubbard is a man, and as every man, he had qualities and he had flaws. Never heard of a person who had no flaws. And L. Ron Hubbard was definitely someone who had some. He had many qualities. At any rate, Scientology is an applied philosophy. Its original definition is the study of truth. So people who say you should not do that, then I should not seek the truth. That's exactly what those people are telling me. So I should not seek the truth, but remain in prejudice. Well, if that's your bag, I can grant you the bigness to explore that dead end. But me, I've decided I want to seek the truth and live with the truth. So there are some people who say because Hubbard said something, it's all false. In other words, if Hubbard said Newton was right in the law of gravity, it's reason enough to challenge Newton. Well, that's of course nonsense. So I am in a search for truth and a search for a path toward further enlightenment. And from my own experience and the feedback from many around me, I'm progressing quite well on that path. Now, one thing, there are times about L. Hubbard versus Scientology when the man would openly violate his own policies. He would say something and then do something opposite to it. Or there are times where he erred. And in the church, if you say that L. Ron Hubbard erred, this is sacrilege. This is excommunication. Here's some two examples, and these are minor examples. In a PDC, I believe this is PDC number 58, he says that calculus is useless and that it has never found any applicable usage. Well, that's nonsense. They would have never sent any rockets to the moon without calculus, and in fact a lot of astronomical calculations about orbits involve calculus, and anything involving a rate of change or acceleration, and that would include planes, makes heavy use of calculus. So this is a completely flawed statement. Another statement, and actually someone unraveled and lost his mind over that stupid punny point, in the State of Man Congress, number 7, I believe, where he says that he shot General Prescott in a past life. Well, it just so happened that General Prescott outlived that battle by more than 20 years, according to history book. Well, then he obviously got it wrong. He either shot someone else, or the guy only got wounded, or he missed, or he shot, or he's got flawed recall. That's all. But someone went literally PTS type 3 over it and start to say everything was wrong. Incidentally, the church, after this guy made such a scandal because he wrote to every single executive on the planet about it, what they did is in the subsequent reissues of the State of Man Congress, they've removed the definition of General Scott from the glossary to avoid that embarrassing moment, but they have left that statement by L. Ron Hubbard that said that he allegedly killed him, and that here, which according to history book is not accurate. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means that the man is not perfect. He either has flawed recall, or that he has some mistake in his time track. Find me someone who doesn't. Well, this is all for the briefing for today. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have as much of a good time as I'm having one right now.